So welcome, Kaja Zalewska. Did I say that closely right? Having destroyed one of my colleagues' names earlier. Okay. Kaja is the advisor to the minister and coordinator of the Ministry of Finance of Poland. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There will be no presentation, no videos. So I'm being a bit challenged by this provocation. I'm not sure actually whether you know much about Poland. You know, like my Belgian husband-to-be, before he came to Warsaw, he imagined, or he was like discussing with me whether it was a dangerous place, or it was like still, you know, cheap vodka and cheap workforce and cheap food. Okay. At some point, I was telling my friends in high school, I was in France, that there's like white bears on the streets, and they did believe me. Well, this is not Poland, and although I don't have a presentation, because I stuck to these rules that were imposed not to have a presentation, there will be only this slide, basically, from my office that I represent in the Ministry of Finance. Poland is a bit different. It has changed for the 25 past years. It has developed, and of course we are running after the technological innovations. Poland, just to let you like the brief description of how I would like you to see Poland, because there is no presentation, so just try to imagine. We're the country that went through the recession without being the recession, the last one, the economic crisis. 20% growth in the past 20 years, which is quite good. Poland is going to have the president of the European Union the 1st of December for the next 2.5 or 5 years. And this is how Poland is developing. Basically, quite quickly, the society runs. The next Google campus will be opened in Warsaw. There are only 2 other in the world, in London and in Tel Aviv. Basically, to celebrate our 25 years of freedom, we had the managing director of Google who came on the invitation of our president. Well, Obama was there as well, but Google is kind of more important now. Yeah, so this is basically the thing. We are going quite quickly. High-tech, e-businesses, and everybody's basically expecting the public administration to go as quick as the society does. So my question is whether we should or we should not. Of course, well, you will find it later. I will not give you the reply straight away, what I think about it. The public service is expected not only to be like offices and being there like to answer to your question yes or no. And this is why with my team in the Ministry of Finance, we work on like the financial education team. We work on new channels of communication with the taxpayers. Basically, we have the tax administration within the Ministry of Finance in Poland. How to communicate to people that taxes are good, how to raise the awareness. Because actually it's true. I mean, if we didn't pay taxes, we wouldn't have roads. Well, the EU gives us money as well, but I mean, it's not the case. This is one of the goals, and our team actually works really difficult to make the change, to make the difference, and to make the difference of also how do people perceive the public administration. In 2011, we prepared an application that is actually due to help taxpayers in submission of their tax formulas. Remember this awful period, little numbers and forms and these unpolite desk officers in tax offices. So that's what we wanted to change. We wanted to go further and enable people to get a personalized service. Not go into the offices, of course, because it's a hard work to do, but to go online with a special website launched during the tax payment period, so only 3 or 4 months per year. Of course, on this website you can find brochures, some Q&A, you can find tax forms, but you can also find a special entry form where you ask a question. It can go up to 4,000 characters. It's quite a lot. Sometimes we get big questions, and we need to give big answers as well. What happens next? You enter your question. The question arrives. It's not a huge innovation, right? Just an entry form. But the question arrives to our office, to my office. Some of my colleagues do actually anonymize the question because people have tendency, like you, basically, we all do, going on Facebook, publishing, "Ooh, party we went to," and then all the world goes to know that we were on the party. Some people give us some protected data. Some give very specific details that we don't want others to know. We anonymize the thing. Then we check whether there are no vulgarisms. We also manually, right? We also give some keywords to identify the question. Then it's sent to our experts from the tax offices, from a special National Tax Information Office. 90 people working not only on that, but during the tax declaration period, basically on that. They receive a question from a person, me, Anna Smith, 2 children, 4 dogs. I want to know whether I have any tax deductions, right? They prepare the answer, and within 24 hours, the answer is published on the website, dedicated to you, to Elka, to Dan. No saying that it's Dan or that it's Elka, right? Then you get the information that your answer has been processed, and you can find the answer which was properly prepared for you, like in a very short time by experts. So you are kind of like very personally, humanly treated. And well, is it a challenge or is it an impact to do this application, to use it? We opened it in 2011. There were 600 entries, questions. 2012 we had 1,000. The year after 2,000, more or less. And now this year we had 6,000 questions asked and replied. As we are giving a personal reply, like treating each question separately, it takes a lot of time and of human energy. This is basically the challenge, because we are here to answer, but we also apply so much hard work into it that we are now looking for some optimization. Even like simple thing of keywords being detected by the system would help us. Whatever, like the problem is, for instance, the system which is based within the Ministry of Finance. So we cannot enable like a data protection thing. And what you were saying in your presentation, Luca, no, the data center have to be within the ministry so that it's securized. Basically, it's our case. That's what we hear from our IT guys. And then we're like, why? I mean, we have like firms working on it. It's because of the money, of course, well, restrictions, etc. Another challenge to this application is that we are not giving the law. We're not giving the replies are the replies by experts, but you cannot like quote this reply in the court saying the Ministry of Finance told us that this and that. No, because it is of course based on a particular case, but we do not know all the aspects of your situation, so we cannot always reply straight to the point. The other thing is, you would ask me, why don't we use just a Q&A, right? Q&A, many similar cases. Well, because first of all, we want it to be personalized. It's much better. Yeah, there was no presentation, as you see, so OECD rules. Why don't we use the Q&A? Well, actually we do, but every year we need to change it because the law changes as well. So many, like in tax things, in tax matters, people can't be wrong when reading an official website of the Ministry of Finance. Then we just want it to be helpful. We just want it to be personalized and go further, and like that people feel that we are there for them, changing, that the administration is close. They can, not, for instance, not be willing on calling us online. They just get an answer. They set their place, type the thing. And we don't want the taxpayers to imagine that the administration is only there to collect taxes and tell you, you didn't pay on time, you cheated, you cheater, blah, blah, blah. So getting back to my first question, should the public administration go as quick as the high-tech technologies do? No, actually not always, because if we want to help everybody, elderly and sometimes needing more time to assist, and the young and busy running and needing the applications, and foreigners, for instance, we cannot, we're not yet ready. Maybe one day it will be the case, but still I think there will be some cases that are apart. This is why I think we should be going further, following the digitalization processes, but still keeping this human aspect of the public administration, which is extremely important. Thank you very much. No presentation.
Thank you. Well, you know, the best way to follow someone that's used lots of video is to do a talk, as you just did without video. So.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's a good tactic. Thank you.
Some of you closing eyes was like, open them.
No, they're thinking.
Time.
No, thank you. That was really, really, really good. So thanks a lot. Are there any questions for Kaja?
I've got a lot of questions for you.
Yeah.
So.
No? Yes?
Yeah. Last week, Steven van Bellegem, a writer, a Belgian writer, he launched a book, When Digital Becomes Human. And I think he would have loved it if he had your example. So I'm going to pause it anyway, because I know Steven. But I think your story is very broad, very enthusiastic, so no offense taken about no presentation. You should believe in yourself. That's my first statement. But the second, the real question is, if you're putting it on a website, do you have a kind of structure or to make sure that even other people, it's of course a very good thing to answer one-to-one, but it's more important to make sure that people find the answers on your website, who's very low cost, to make sure that everybody finds what they're looking for, and that in a few months, years, whatever, it will be less work for you to answer all individually.
I skipped that one in my presentation, but of course we do have several ways of, we publish all the answers, all the questions and all the answers on the website. We give them the keywords, so there is a cloud. You can research throughout a special research engine, and then you can find, maybe there is a case that fits your case, and you will find the answer straight away. We do not keep it every year, because, as I explained, the law changes, there's always something changing in taxes, I mean, at least in Poland, I don't know for the others. So this is why we do not keep them year from year. We do keep them in our databases. This is another challenge, because we do not really make a great use of it afterwards. We go through them, we see where people have issues, where they have problems. Then we produce brochures every year during, like, before tax declaration period. Based on the most frequently asked questions or things that the tax chambers told us people were asking about. But getting back to this, yes, research engine or keywords, as the questions are anonymized, they're only ID numbers, but the question itself is like you can Google it on our website. Yeah.
I mean, it's something the web is very good at, is leaving traces for other people to follow and learn from, isn't it? So it's a very good learning engine in that sense. So it reminds me a little bit of like the 311 story from New York about having all of the city's requests from citizens going through one phone number, which they can then triage, and they then distribute out to the individual department to deal with. But the fact they're pulling all of them together means they can learn effectively across all of the citizens' requests about what the issues are in the city.
Warsaw did that recently, the city of Warsaw. Well, I think it was part of the political campaign, but they settled down one number for all the troubles people can encounter in the town. Of course, afterwards it was going like, I have rubbish in front of my door, please pick it up, why somebody's throwing it, or the bus is not coming. But it was kind of PR for the city, but working one. I mean, working one, helpful one.
Yeah, and so if you use that information strategically, then you can rethink the way a system works, essentially, can't you? So are you, how deeply would you say are you getting into questions about the way that tax should work in the first place? As in, not just building a very nice system on the existing tax system, but rethinking what tax is. Are you able to get into that territory, do you think, with this work?
I'm not sure I should be getting into that, because it's kind of like everybody will consider that tax should be this way or that way. We should be paying taxes, or we should not. I, of course, think after having experienced a lot of in-house like problems and gain knowledge, I think that taxes are the basis of our like development and of the. I mean, if you are fair, you are paying taxes, right? If you are not paying taxes, it means somebody else is paying them for you. And then I wouldn't get into debate like from this application, because the application is basically collecting very particular cases. I mean, very, very particular ones. Sometimes we're really like a bit, how comes? But I mean, it's we're there to help.
I didn't mean questioning. I am a fan of tax, for what it's worth. But
let's have this chat afterwards.
Not many people say that, but more the mechanism. So instead of waiting a year and having to do the annual tax return, as transactions get increasingly digital, you could effectively, for instance, you could collect tax at source at the point of transaction. It does work
in some countries, of course it does. And in Poland, it is like for the particulars, you pay a tax at the end of the tax year, right? But like for the, if I'm not mistaken, the firms pay taxes every month, right? So it is like there are many ways. Of course, for a firm, it's easier to pay it every month because they have an income coming, going, whereas the household, it's different. And according to the country, it's so different that basically the EU is an internal market, it is an open space. But once we go, I lived in France for a couple of years. When I moved back to Poland, I was like, how comes it doesn't work like that here? And then I just thought, oh, okay, we have still some time to go modern, more modern than we are. Yeah.
Any more questions for Kaja before we move on? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hang on. Just at the last minute. There you go.
How was it received within the tax group? People had to answer these questions. They see this as part of their job. Is it something they welcome doing, or do they see this as not their role?
Well, of course, these people, they are experts in that. This is their work. They usually work on telephone info centers. So it is not something that they are not used to doing, first thing. Then, as it's a period that is much more energy consuming and time consuming, and they stay after work, they have some kind of primes, which is motivating. Of course, they're not judged on the number of questions, but they're all really working hard. And my girls, they really like work in the evenings. They go they do it because they know they have this sentiment of public service, and I really appreciate that. That's why I went into the public administration. Yeah, to help.
It's a very nice note to end on. Thank you. Thank you, Kaja, very much.